A pleasant day going out to you. You are welcome to the YouTube channel of the News God. My name is Nelson Kofi. Let's do what we do best. Let's talk. Now, something fascinating happened yesterday when the BECE writing was going on. A young girl, a teenager actually, gave birth in the middle of exams, and this is what we're going to talk about today. So a little bit of background or context, right? So imagine in the Ashanti region, we're told that this happened in Asonua Presbyterian Junior High School in Mamponteng in the Ashanti region. One heavily pregnant teenager came to write the IT examination yesterday on the 11th of June 2025. And she simply got up to go and excuse herself to use the washroom. She sought permission to use the washroom, and just some moments later, the policewoman who was on duty during the examination just decided to go and check up on her because it's been a minute and she had still not shown up. Well, she goes to the washroom, and there this girl lay in active labor. And what happens after that? She is quickly rushed to the headmaster's office where she gave birth to a healthy baby boy. That's what happened yesterday. And as miraculous or as wonderful or however fairy tale like that sounds, there is a bigger conversation behind this, which we'll be getting into pretty swiftly. But let's continue the story. So after giving birth, one of the pastors in the Mamponteng community drove her from the headmaster's office with the newborn baby to a hospital we're told is called the Victory Hospital in Mamponteng. So she's currently there, and she's they're attending to her as we're speaking right now. So the bigger conversation I wanted us to have is the issue of teenage pregnancy, especially in Ghana right now. Now, with the advancement of a lot of things, education, technology, society, you'd think that the issue of teenage pregnancy would be going down. But as a matter of fact, it seems to be increasing day by day and year in, year out. And that's what we want to talk about today. How is it that our young girls are still getting pregnant at this incredibly high rate? That is something that is quite unfortunate. I consider it a societal menace, and it should be talked about. So let's talk about it. So let's veer away from this young girl and just talk generally, broadly, in context. Why are we still seeing this happening in our schools, in our societies, in our hospitals? Is it that the education is not enough? Is it that the young girls are not being careful enough? Is it that the idea of abstinence isn't being taught enough? Or are parents just not doing their work enough? There's so much that we can unveil in this conversation. I just want you to help me in the comments below. What are some of the causes of teenage pregnancy, and why is teenage pregnancy still rife in 2025? So I'm sure that you know the causes of teenage pregnancy. This is not a social studies class, but then let's try to just go through a few. Then at the end of this conversation, we can try to see who really is at fault here. So we can talk about poverty. Yeah, sometimes when things don't go too well in the house, and girls need things, and people in power. So there's that sort of difference in power. Somebody who is in a position to provide, and these inferior kids, or vulnerable kids, let me call them, are in the position of receiving. So that power dynamic can cause teenage pregnancy. So a poor girl from a poor home, there's nothing, and this man says, oh, come, let me give you this, and I want this in return. It takes a strong girl to, decide to put that away, and that's one cause of teenage pregnancy. So poverty, then parental neglect. And I think this is very key, because even in some circumstances, very unfortunate circumstances such as poverty, which we already highlighted, I believe if you have parents that are very hands-on on your upbringing, some of these things can just pass you by. So parental neglect, definitely another cause of teenage pregnancy. If parents are not being responsible enough, the young girls are vulnerable and can go astray and not get themselves pregnant, and just carry belly. I'm sorry. So Parents should do well to take responsibility of their children. Your children are 100% your responsibility, especially in the ages of puberty. During those ages, a lot of things happen, and I believe that those are the times when parents, you need to look and have a closer eye and form a big relationship, a very deep relationship with your children, so they'd be able to tell you anything and everything, so they don't fall victim to some of these things. Another reason why teenage pregnancy seems to be on the rise nowadays, in my opinion, I think, is the lack of education on the use of contraceptives. I don't think that the usage of contraceptives, teaching that I don't think there's a lot of education on that. Or maybe there is, but it is not enough. I believe we can do more in our schools and even at home. So this comes even back to the parents' conversation. You need to sit your children down. Let's have sex education. Do people do that in Ghana? I know we're very traditional, and matters of sex seem to be very far away, very like 30s. You can't be talking about sex with your children when they are in their 15 or in their 16s or in their puberty. But that's wrong. They need to know, because they are experiencing all these emotions, all these hormonal changes, and if they don't have their parents to talk through it with them, they might fall into the wrong hands. So there needs to be enough education about contraceptives and contraceptive use. And I believe strongly in preaching the significance of abstinence. But we can talk about abstinence, and we can talk about plan B as well. If abstinence isn't working, what is the plan B? So that if abstinence doesn't work, we don't go and fall into tragic situations just because we didn't know about the plan B. And that is not to say that pregnancies are a bad thing. Absolutely not. If it wasn't pregnancy, I wouldn't be sitting here. If it wasn't pregnancy, you wouldn't be watching me. But during your puberty, no, there's a lot to life that you can experience than motherhood in that very early age. And I believe that there have been some great people born during pregnancy, but that shouldn't be a reason for you to go and get pregnant and just have a baby, and then now your education and everything has to take a few steps back. If you want to get pregnant, you can get pregnant, but just in the right time. Am I preaching to somebody today? I feel I'm preaching to. I hope I'm talking to a young girl who's watching, a parent who's watching, and taking some notes or learning a few things that I'm sharing. Okay, so the last cause I want to talk about is peer pressure. Your friend is doing this, your friend is doing that, so let me go and sleep with a boy and afford that lifestyle. You don't know what your friend is doing to afford that lifestyle. So why are you trying? Who are you in a competition with? Nobody but yourself. The only person you are in competition with is yourself. Put that at the back of your mind, that I want to achieve this. So the only person I'm competing with is not anybody external. It's just me, how to be better, how to do better, where to go from here. You know? So let us be our own competition so we don't fall victim to some of these things. And the boys, especially the older men who sleep with young girls, is disgusting. It's disgusting. I'm sorry. There's no mincing of this, or there's no trying to butter it out. It's just straight out disgusting that somebody in his 20s, 30s, or somebody of that age and of so much wisdom would want to sleep with these teenagers who are still figuring out their lives, who are still discovering themselves. You can do better. You can find your age mates, okay? Let's abstain from sex for now as teenagers. Should we do that? Please, let's do that. Now, I want us to go on social media to see what the public perception or reaction of this story is. The young girl who got pregnant, and like I said, it is not a fairy tale. It is a real life situation. Because let's talk about it. After being we know we are celebrating this heroic thing that she has done, that she's given birth. She's pulled through the pain of childbirth, even during these intense moments of examination. Yes, we applaud her for that. But what is her life after these few weeks? Now you have a child. You were in school. Are you going to put your education on hold to take care of the child? It's your home. Your home, like, what are the finances? What circumstances are you raising your child in? Where is the father? Is the father responsible? You're not married. So there's a broader conversation to this. It is not just, oh, people are praising me that I just gave birth during BECE. Okay, a week later, where are those people? It's just you, your child, and your parents. And we pray for those, and usually it's not even the girl that's going to be, I don't want to say victim, but it's the child. The child is going to bear the consequences if the situation is not right, and that is not fair. It is not fair to put an innocent child through all that. Let's get onto social media and see what people are saying. And of course, it's Ghanaian social media, so there are going to be a lot of hilarious comments and not really projecting the sensitivity of this issue. Now let's see. Samuel Dakeboafo says, the child must be given BECE certificate. Okay. Now Mr. Fact says, hope she'll be writing that paper when she returns. Yes, we need to understand the conversation behind it. A young girl who goes to have her baby in the middle of exams, what is it looking like for her? Is she going to rewrite the paper? Is she going to sit a year? Let's wait for the conversations to unfold. Or you can let us know in the comments how these things go about. If you're a WAEC, you've ever worked with WAEC, and you know how these things happen, please feel free to share with us in the comments. Someone says, Two Sweets Brian says, why was she allowed to even write? She should be sacked. If you think you're old enough to be a mother, stay home and be one. That should not be tolerated in schools. If something had happened to her, the school would have been held accountable. And yes, this may seem very outright and boldly spoken, but there are a few sentiments that I can also share. Why was she allowed to even write in the first place? Yes, a girl is heavily pregnant. I think she could have been excused. Let us know in the comments, couldn't she have been excused? Like he's saying, if something had gone bad, let's say if that headmaster's office was not around, if that pastor who drove her all the way to the hospital were not around, what would it have been for her? How would it have looked like for her? If we didn't have all those things in the right places at the right time, what would have happened? So I think although this is very bold to say, it has some facts to it, so we can look at it, but let us know in the comments what you think. Another person, Kofi Mensah Abrompa, says, hey, Kweku BECE. So what will be the baby name? Miracle. Given the circumstances or the situation of this childbirth, should we name the child Miracle? And since it's on the internet, we've all become like internet relatives to the child. Kwame Frimpong says it is a yearly phenomenon. Unfortunately, it is. Young girls, year in, year out, go to write BECE with a whole 9 months pregnancy. No. BECE baby, and this one is coming from Positive Atmosphere. Jordan 49 says her parents and teachers wanted her to deliver in the exams, and she delivered. well, so that's what's looking like on social media. People, just a few comments. I just read a few comments, and that's what people have to say about the situation. But I want to hear from you as well. What do you think about this? Let's talk about it in the comments. So let's talk briefly about what the youth should be doing right now. I believe we as the youth and teenagers, please take this from probably your bigger brother or whatever you want to take me as. There is more to life than 2 minutes of pleasure. For now, you can get 10 times of pleasure, sexual satisfaction, when you're independent and you have your own life working for you. One of the greatest people tell you that, and I want to share this with you. So if you've not taken anything from this video at all, this is one thing you should take. Okay? Make sure you have your own life before you become somebody's wife. Now, in this circumstance of this girl giving birth at this age without her life together, she has not even finished her education. Now she has to become somebody's baby mama. And all the confusion, all the stress, the frustration that comes with that is now starting for her. So take this from me and from this video. To the girls, make sure you have your own life before you become somebody's wife. And I think that's all the message I need to preach for now. And so, basically, we just talked about the issue of teenage pregnancy, using the young girl who just put to birth during BECE examination as a case study. If you enjoyed this video, if you learned something from this video, please do make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, comment, share this video, bring your friends on board to the News Squad. Let's have these discussions, these important discussions, day in, day out, or regularly. My name is Nelson Kofi, and this is the News Squad. Thank you for watching.